Morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. Hopefully this week I'm on Humanity Healing Live rather than my own live page. I don't know what happened last week, but it was a little strange when I ended the show and there it was on my page instead of Humanity Healing's page. However, that sort of flows with everything we do these days, doesn't it? We think something is going to happen, we're expecting something to follow a pattern, and boom, there it is. It's creating its own pattern all by itself. So, good morning, Joni. At least somebody found me. I'm here. I'm live. You make me feel complete now. I'm not just an imagination. Today's topic is an interesting one that I woke up with, and it's hard to imagine these two words being sort of put together in conjunction with each other. However, it has to do with what we're going through energetically right now. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Charisse, Julia. Bless you all. And so the topic that came to my mind was preparation, not reparation. And I had watched a show, I think it's posted on my page, and I'm not going to remember his name, but I love him dearly. That's okay. He talked about what's happening to us energetically and how some of us are going through periods of exhaustion or uncomfortableness, etc. And it was about the energies. And I'll let you find that on my page and listen to him. Lee Harris. Thank you, guides. And he does this program at the first of the month, and I highly recommend it. I've been listening to him for years, and it's almost like we're sort of brothers. We're getting the same messages, but differently. So there's a synchronicity there. The interesting part of all of this is that when I awoke, my beloved was dreaming and talking out loud and was totally scattered. She'd go from one dream into a next one. And I sat and listened to, not to really try to figure out what she was dreaming about, but to watch the pattern of her brain as it was not connected. It was fragmented. And that's what started my mind, and my guides talking to me about, we can't repair this scatteredness that we're feeling. We can't repair this, I would call disjunction of our humanness and community. What we need to do is to start preparing, and which we already are, but preparing for a new paradigm, which we've talked about in many different levels. Because there's no repairing the old. As much as we may love parts of the old, some of those parts will move forward with us. But we can't repair what's broken anymore. It's too far gone. It's like a car. You can keep the car running for 20 years, but then all of a sudden, you just can't fix the engine anymore. There's just no place to get the parts. This is what's really my awakening this morning was the message is, how do we begin to think about preparation, and how do we prepare ourselves to co-create the new earth, the new world, the new humanity, the new, whatever you want to call it, rather than fixing the old. If the old is broken, can we come to a place in our hearts where we recognize that and we look at that and say, no matter what we do, we're still going to end up with something not working properly. It'll work great for some, but it's the rest of the people it's not going to work for. So here we are at this point of co-creation, this epiphany where we can move forward together and realize that part of the energy shift that's going on within our physical body, I spoke to somebody this morning. I end up having naps in the afternoon. I've never had a nap in my life. I usually have energy. I can go 24 hours, or I've gone even longer than that. But lately, I have to pull away from social media and things that I love and want to participate in because I need to go sleep. I can't sit through another thing and function properly. I have to go sleep, or then the next day I'll be fine and I can go 12 hours and watch and read and do everything. So this energetic frequency that's happening globally, and I'm not just saying it's the United States, but globally, what we're going through is creating these patterns that are triggering in us our energy, and then our energy is bouncing back and forth between the thought patterns and the physical expression of those. If I haven't lost you yet, just stay tuned. We're all experiencing this, and each one of you, I'm sure, have your unique story. And part of it is the separation and the isolation, because we're no longer in each other's energy fields as much. So that's one issue. The other issue is we have a news field that is promoting fear. And it doesn't matter why. It's just, this is what the field is, fear. And the human body can only accept so much of that at any given time before it goes into shutdown mode, where it will start to block. When we start to block energies, what we do is we create a disturbance within our own energy field. And when we create that disturbance in the energy field, we're not consciously aware we're doing it. It just happens. And it's sort of the body's circuit breaker system going into effect is to save us from going into depression or anxiety. And many of us that's not working. There are a lot of people suffering from anxiety right now, a lot of people suffering from depression. And as a result of that, they're getting illnesses, they're getting failures in their physical body and their system, because it's all connected. It's all connected through the water and the neural system. So what do we do? So the message this morning is we start to look at how do, instead of trying to fix this, how do we prepare for something totally unknown, totally brand new, never thought of before, totally original, to bring us into a new world paradigm. So I pulled a card this morning. This beautiful card is the Pleiades, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Pleiades. Interestingly enough, the Pleiades tonight or this weekend with the full moon are right behind the full moon. They're going to be the background for the full moon. I remember years ago reading stories by Barbara Marciniak, which opened me to a greater understanding of our cosmic relationship. But this card, the title of this card is Potential. It's potential. And the statement from it is, I am a spring pouring forth from the ocean of universal potential. So if you look at the Pleiades, this is potential. And if you know the stories of the Pleiadians and you understand their willingness to assist us, as well as all cosmic and galactic beings in our evolution, you realize that this is the potential energy right here. This is the potential energy we need to bring in and tap into in order to create this new paradigm. And this new paradigm will take a while to create, but the more of us that can tap into that potential of a future, rather than worrying about what is happening now in the present and the past, the quicker this will happen. So there will be a quickening. Some of the affirmations for that is I draw from the ocean of oneness. So what do we mean by oneness? Each one of us has a vision of oneness. Okay. And I think for most of us, it's a collective whole that is functional, that is brilliant, that is powerful. We may not understand what it is or what it does or how it works, but an ocean, we know how big an ocean is. This is our human mind thinking. An ocean is vast. This is this vast oneness. This is what I want everybody to think about this week, is tapping into that ocean of oneness. Next affirmation was, I'm open to the universe in all its forms. So another problem we have when we look at the universe and we look at something greater outside of ourselves is we don't always understand all the forms. The forms may look static, and yet they're highly charged vibrations. They may look like they're dead objects, and yet they're really living beings in a form that we just don't recognize. So again, it's a shifting of our conscious awareness right now while we're going through this energetic frequency craziness, to keep our minds open to the universe, not so much what's happened on Tubi here and on network whatever. Okay, bring it out, bring it up, and expand it out and become the comb of information to bring that information in. And at the same time, ground your feet to Mother Earth, knowing that that connection is really a part of who we really are. That when we separate ourselves from the energies of Mother Earth, we're not going to be here any longer. That part of our process of being here and in physical form is the gift of Mother Earth's energies. Okay, so this is something that we need to really start to think about and appreciate. I think the key word here is appreciate it. We don't have to understand it so much, but appreciate the connectedness that we have to all that is. And that's what that statement is. I'm open to the universe in all its forms. What happens when you do that? Well, what happens is it empowers us. It empowers us to see things differently, to look in a direction and be brave enough or have enough wisdom or our guides telling us and listening to them to take that new road, to take that new path and experience a new journey. Because this is what it is. It's a new journey into a higher level of our human self. We're not going to disappear. We're still going to be human beings, but we're going to shift and change to a level where all of this past anger and frustration and pain and suffering is dissipated. Will it be completely gone? I don't know. It depends on how far we evolve. And this is the present moment of our evolution right now. And each of us are out of sorts because of it. So what you're feeling and what you're going through is not going to be fixed by a pill. It's not, there's no vaccine for this. There is no scientific application. There is no computer chip that's going to correct this. This comes through our physical body, which is basically water, and connecting this water body to the greater water body of the universe and the inner earth, and becoming whole again, reconnecting as this energy that's flowing through the water and creating everything that we see and exist. The old paradigm was to take it all apart, to dissect it, to figure it out, to use it, to abuse it, whatever, doesn't matter how we got there, but that was the old paradigm, or the old story, if you will. We're writing a new story because this one can't go any further. The energies of the universe will no longer support it. And I say that sincerely. I say that because my guides keep telling me that every day. The energies will no longer support this. So you can struggle, you can fight, you can want to keep it, and all you're doing is just going to keep destroying yourself. So I hope on some level I'm making some sense here, because each of us now have to become a little bit more responsible for our energy. And we can't keep saying, well, I'll go to somebody and they'll fix my energy. Oh, I feel out of sorts. I'll go and I'll, go get this, and I'll go have that in this modality and that modality. And then we go right back into the craziness. Well, it works for that little short time frame, but there's no lasting process that's affecting us. It's just short term. So it's the Band-Aid. We keep putting Band-Aids. That the word came to me. I don't know if it's in my notes or not, but the word Band-Aid, we keep putting Band-Aids on things. So reparation is saying that something is wrong, and well, we'll kind of patch it up and make everybody happy. So when we look at that, we look at the reparation requests in the world for, indigenous people and black people and people who have been abused, and women who have suffered patriarchal pain, the pain of the patriarch. We want reparation. We deserve to have this. Well, I'm not saying you don't deserve to have it, but if that's what you're focusing on, what you're really saying is, I'm accepting that this is acceptable, and I'll take a payment, which means I'll do it again if you pay me. Now, I'm being bold here, but that's basically what we're saying. We're saying, okay, I was raped, but if you give me enough money, then I'm going to be okay. And if you rape me again, I'll get more money. Not that that wants to be happened, but this is what we're doing. We're setting up this energetic field of repetition. And so it never gets fixed. It never gets fixed because the mindset, the human mindset, well, if you pay them enough, if you give them enough, you can do whatever you want to them. Now, that's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard sentence for me to say. And I'm not here to make enemies or friends. I'm just looking at a paradigm that we're living in, and I'm realizing that this has been the pattern. And no matter what happens, there's always that somebody rises to the top and they become the perpetrators against everybody else. And then they collect more money, more wealth, whatever, and then they pay off everybody below them. Let's go on. Let's play this game. Let's continue to play this game. Time out. Time's over. It's gone. Done. Not sustainable anymore. Not my words. It's not sustainable because the energy of Earth will not sustain it. The energy that Mother Earth is receiving is far more powerful than the energy that humans are creating in all their technological ways. The technologists think that they have all the answers to everything. They can create life out of nothing. They can send things and communicate to the stars. But there's a price in every single one of those actions, because all of those actions are not designed for the whole of the planet. They are done in order to make billions of dollars and create the old paradigm in place. So, this is what the coronavirus has done for a lot of us, has opened us up. And it's instigating the shutdown of the paradigm. So it doesn't matter how it occurred, whether it was intentional to control people or not. You can listen to the conspiracy talk or not. What is a conspiracy? It's just people trying to come to a conclusion to understand something. We're all conspiring. The government's a conspiracy. We're all doing this. We're trying to figure this out. And it hurts. It's come to a point where it hurts my brain. So now, what do? We are already experiencing the collapse of the structure in which we live. I want you to think about that what you're experiencing right now is the collapse of the structure in which we live. The structure is the paradigm. It's not visibly seen. However, we are functionally aligned with it and functioning in it. It's a collective process. Most of us have not been aware of. We just wake up and go to work, take care of our kids, grow up, become grandparents, have grandchildren. This has been the pattern. However, it's been so distorted now to the point where we're experiencing this greater suffering around the world. So that's what my guides woke me up with this morning. Now, we understand that I'm looking at time. So we understand that, I'm going to look over here. Carrie, we have to be willing to help ourselves while Spirit guides us. Yes, beautifully said. It is the same for receive. It is like that. Okay. Again, so I just want to share with you that if you're having thoughts like this, follow them, because the gift of all of this is the ability to, I don't know where I'm going here. Okay, get my other notes up. Is the ability to shift and change and be part of the realignment in order to co-create with the new energies. So it's going to take our physical bodies some time to adapt. But if we have the conscious awareness that the adapting to the new energies is not something negative, it's not something to fear, maybe uncomfortable, but it's something that is going to propel us into the future, where we are going to co-create from a place within our hearts rather than from within our heads. We will all be moving through into the future as a whole, rather than just a few who are going to make a vast profit by it. So the spirits and the spirit guides continually speak with us, and it's vital right now for us to recognize that no matter how fearful we are, we need to ground ourselves to beloved Mother Earth. Okay, that's key. Keep grounding to Mother Earth. Get out in nature. Plant flowers. Watch them grow. Look at life as it's flourishing in its natural patterns, because that's the reminder of who and what life is really about. The falseness of this is this technology, the phones, the TVs, all of this stuff, the 5G, 6G, 95,000G, all of this, vaccines with chips and all this. This is manufactured stuff. And we are not manufactured beings. We are created beings. We've chosen the word, well, I'm going to create something. No, and they've misused it. They're not creators. They're manufacturers. And they just want you to think that they're creators. They're not creating anything except a false illusion to suck us in, to keep the old paradigm rolling. And we're all being challenged all over the world. So the key to remember for us right now is to come back into this physical body, pay attention to what is arising as a part of the separation that we're being forced to experience. And I say forced to experience, but I don't want it to be taken negatively. We're being forced to experience it partly in alignment with awakening to realize how we need to get out of it. We can't. So it's like, I've used this before. When you're a little kid, you tell your children, don't put the fork in the outlet. And what's the kid do? It puts it in the outlet and he gets shocked. And so we were trying to warn them, but the curiosity of humanity and our, this is who we are. We're not that much different than cats. We're very curious about things. And we'll sniff it, and you sniff the wrong thing, you're going to get a snoot full of some nasty business. This is who we are. On some levels, we're humorous that we do this. But right now, we're seeing that the time has collapsed, what we call time, and it's time to expand. So it's like the butterfly, the caterpillar emerging from the cocoon. So the butterfly story is really what it is. We're going through this metamorphosis. Okay, whether it's personally or collectively, it is irrelevant. And so we need to take time to listen and prepare whatever is necessary for you to stabilize your personal physical energy, because your fields are out of balance. And don't blame yourself. This is what we got to get out of is, am I doing something wrong? Could I do this? Should I do that? We go back and forth, because that's a human brain. That's what it does. It's a calculator. It wants to calculate things. It wants to figure things out. Take the time to rest. And I know not all of you can. Some of you have children. Some of you have people you need to take care of. But when you're exhausted and when you get to that point, please honor yourself, honor your body, honor your stress. I know there's so many people who need us now for this, for that. But right now is a time where we need ourselves. And we have to learn to take the time to honor ourselves and create space to care for ourselves in the midst of all of the people in our lives who are struggling and needy. And I'm going to say most of us are probably the ones who respond to those. And we're going to have to shut them down a little. And it's not going to be happy time. And it's not going to be pretty. But if we are to change this collective paradigm, this is what is needed. So we need to be gentle with ourselves. We need to be gentle with those we communicate with and live with. And we need to be respectful of the greater whole around us. But when it acts crazy, when it breaks out into violence, when it does what it does, know that it's a perfect normal pattern for the energy that's happening right now. They're like volcanoes. They will erupt, and they will erupt because of the pressure that's underneath everything. It isn't what's going on around them. What's going on around them is triggering it, as within us, but the volcano comes because of the inner pressure. So if we start to honor that inner being, that heart being, that and operate from this heart rather than from this head, more and more and more, aligning with the stars, aligning with the earth, aligning with the energies that are here to support us, everything will go more quickly and more easily. My show notes here. Try to remember we are preparing for a future existence in a new world, one that we are co-creating right now through every thought and action. Remember that our actions are always results of thoughts or impulses. And if we take a moment before we act to stop and ask ourselves, where is that coming from? Maybe then we'll realize that it's coming through in an error message, and we can abort whatever it is we're planning to do or doing. So take that time. Again, this is not being so reactive. It's taking time to honor yourself. Our thoughts and impulses now need to ally with a more excellent vision than what we have been experiencing for the past thousands of years. Not that, that there's some wonderful, beautiful things we've done, and we've come such a long way. But at this point, I'm questioning, was the suffering worth it? And how long are we going to continue this suffering and carry it into the future by asking somebody to pay us for that suffering? No, I don't want to be paid for my suffering. I want it to be gone. Thank you very much. There's no money you can pay me that's going to relieve my suffering. Just like there's no money you're going to give to anybody in this world that is going to repair their suffering. What's going to repair their suffering is to change the world that created the suffering. And now getting feisty, but this is the message. This is the message. Reparation is the old Band-Aid approach. It's inadequate. It's insufficient. The only one who profits from Band-Aids are the people who make them and sell them. Okay? Get that through your heads. Nobody's giving us anything. We're not here to be given anything. We're here to create something. That's the shift in consciousness. What can we create? Right here from our own little space. Doesn't have to be a worldwide event. But what can you, in your own household, how can you shift and change the energy into a more peaceful and co-creative process? Because this is all part of the new paradigm. The new paradigm, and it's all going to affect the future generations of humanity. So, in closing, I know I'm over time, but that's okay. There is no time. Tai Chi rising. This is Kuan Yin, our beloved goddess Kuan Yin. Here we are in the full moon and the divine feminine, and bring it all in from that aspect. And the Tai Chi reading card, which is written, is your energy field is growing stronger, with more spiritual electricity pulsing through your being. Take time to nourish your nervous system as it adjusts, and be gentle with yourself as you adjust to increasing levels of spiritual potency, which gives more impact to your words, actions, and thoughts. In this message, Kuan Yin is talking about the spiritual light of within our beingness, the light which is really the energy field we have emerged from, and we are eternally connected to. No separation. We have emerged from it, and yet we're connected to it. The field always reminds us of the power of gentleness, kindness, which is now the energy which we will expand out and manifest to create the changes needed for our evolution. Thank you, my beloved evolutionary brothers and sisters. I hope that in this morning's chat, you find some opportunity to deepen and relax into the patterns that you're physically experiencing. Because in that is the key to you. And as each one of us do that individually, we automatically become part of the collective. And as the collective field increases, it first balances the field around us. And then, I'd like to say, diminishes the power. We're not trying to overcome anything, but diminishes the power of the negativity, which has kept us in this cycle for so long. And if the negativity wasn't so profitable, if we didn't create a system, a paradigm where negativity created richness and wealth, we wouldn't be having this conversation this morning. So I leave you with that. Bless you all. Thank you. May the spirit of the Divine Mother be with you during this full moon. Open your hearts, create your ceremonies, welcome her back home into your hearts. And I'm going to close with this blessing. Tihe moriora, ite ingwa, te faya, te tama, te matawa, te wairua tapu, ite ingwa, te tama, te matawa, te faya, te wairua tapu, ite ingwa, te matawa, te faya, te tama, te wairua tapu. May the Divine Mother meet you wherever you are and hold you in her heart eternally. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. Bless you all. Have a great week and enjoy the full moon. And celebrate whatever you want to celebrate. 4th of July, Sunday, Tuesday, the water falling. Doesn't matter. Just celebrate something. See you next week. Or somewhere here in whatever it is, Facebook world. Love you all. Bye-bye.